All right. Excited for this week. Another opportunity to go 1-0. You know, it's been our motto all year, and something we're going to continue to do and believe. Really excited this week that for the Oyster Bowl and being able to give back to Shriners Hospital and those sort of things. So I'm hoping that we can have a full stadium to give these seniors the send-off that they deserve based on what they've given Old Dominion throughout their time here. So, questions?
Yeah, can you talk about the seniors, what they've been through their time here and what they've done? Just your thoughts on the senior class.
Yeah, I think the senior class is obviously they've been through some ups and downs and been through a lot. They haven't wavered with their belief in what Old Dominion can be and their loyalty to this program. Great group of young men that I'm blessed to be able to coach, and these are some great players. And like I said, I'm really hopeful that we can have a full stadium, a very raucous crowd and give them the atmosphere that they deserve.
Can you kind of give us a collective temperature of the team, just the excitement level, given having won 4 in a row in the last game of the regular season coming up?
Yeah, I probably, whether it's take credit or blame, I don't know. It's probably a little bit of both. But, the 1-0 mentality makes it so there's not like a differing excitement level from week to week or game to game. I mean, they are very aware that I'm going to talk to them about that all week. They're very aware that that's how we're going to approach everything. While my message is different in terms of the semantics from day to day, they know the overall messaging is going to be very, very similar in what we're doing. Obviously we have a different game plan, a different way that we know we have to win the games, and different things we need to concentrate on each week. But overall, they also know that it's about going 1-0. It's about playing with technique and fundamentals, playing hard, good team football. And so they're gonna continue to do that. And because of that, the level of excitement stays pretty steady. And I've really been probably more proud of that with this group than anything. Is just the consistency of which they have had their emotional stability.
Even when you were losing.
Yeah. Very frankly, yeah. I think that's what has allowed us to play better football as we've continued on this season. Is there weren't guys who were down in the dumps. There were guys, they were attacking the weight room, they were attacking practice, film room, study hall, all those sort of things. Did we have our ups and downs and our areas where we needed to be more disciplined across the board? Absolutely. But that's where I've seen growth each and every week, and that's where I've probably been the most impressed and pleased with the team, is that we have gotten better each and every week.
You were talking about the seniors. Given the state of the transfer portal, what was your sales pitch to keep them here?
My sales pitch was that I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that they reach their maximum potential. And that's, hopefully they can all say that that's what I've done. Everybody's potential is different, but I told them all that, from the way we approach practice to the way we approach meetings to the way we approached weightlifting to community service, everything, that I was going to help them maximize their overall potential. And I was going to always be honest with them. And, that's kind of what I did. I don't know if I'd exactly call what I do in recruiting a sales pitch. I probably should get better at that. I'm pretty bluntly honest with people, and I try to be as genuine as possible so that when they get here, they're not surprised, because I do think that that's part of the transfer portal too, is when people are here, they should get the same thing they get when I am recruiting them. And I think that being able to provide that is what's going to get people to stick with us through the inevitable valleys that come with everybody's collegiate career.
If you look at your starting lineups all season, it's been pretty consistent. How important is that?
Yeah, it's critical. I think that obviously we've had, our injuries, those sort of things, but we've been able to stay fairly consistent. That's a testament to Dwight Galt and his strength staff. That's a testament to Justin Walker and his training staff and everything that they've done. It's also, I think, an incredible testament to our players and just how much they've bought into how they need to take care of their bodies and do the things necessary in order to play all 12 weeks. So that's something that going into the season I was a little worried about because it'd been a long time since we'd practiced in consecutive days, let alone played in consecutive weeks. And so that was something I was a little nervous about, and the guys have proven that my worries were not they were misplaced at best. So they've come out and they have practiced hard and played hard and worked through the bumps and bruises that accompany any football season and done a really nice job of that.
Ricky, looking at your starting lineup, you have 5 seniors, everyone coming back, only I think 2 or 3 senior backups. You've got a lot coming back next season. I know this week is about seniors and beating Charlotte, but do you look ahead at all?
No, I don't. I don't think anybody in the country does anymore. I think you've got to be focused on what you're doing at that exact moment. This game, with the new rules that we have in place of recruiting, the new rules of what has already been mentioned, the transfer portal and all those sort of things, you can try to project, which is obviously all of our jobs, but you're not going to get it right. You better be real broad in your scope of what you're projecting and not try to do it down to a very specific, this guy's here, this guy's here, because that's just not the way things work anymore. Is that a shame? Yeah, maybe, but it's reality, and I think that's we can look at these things as what's wrong or what's right, but I tend to look at them with it just is the way things are, and we've got to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to put Old Dominion in position to be successful and our kids in position to be successful as well.
Coach, in the locker room, it's 1-0. All this week, it's going to be 1-0. Every practice rep, it's going to be 1-0. It's the same thing you guys keep doing. Outside the locker room, I think you've got a sense of what the fans are going to be focused on, what people in the area are going to be focused on. It's going to be, hey, this team was at 1.1-6 and now has a chance to play for a bowl game. Do you, at any point, think that maybe this could be one of the bigger games in the stadium's history? Just the feeling, again, outside the locker room, putting aside what you as a team will be focused on?
I hope the people outside this locker room understand that it's one of the biggest games in this stadium's history, because you've got guys like Isaac Weaver, you got guys like Nick Reich, you got guys like Jordan Young, playing their last football game in this stadium. And, you got guys who have played through some severe injuries on this year that I haven't talked about, nor will I after this, so don't even bother asking, that have done some things that guys on our team know what other guys on this team have been through, and they're literally superhuman what a couple of these guys have done. So that's what I think that the outside world needs to be focused on, is just that these are some unbelievable young men that they're getting an opportunity to cheer on one last time. And just like our guys, it's always a 1-0 mentality. Our fans are going to look back at some of these guys and realize, man, I think I probably should have appreciated that guy a little bit more when he was here. And so I hope they don't. I hope they realize that before we play this last game and give them the send-off that they deserve.
Coach, have you noticed a difference in confidence level between coming close for several games to winning 4 in a row?
We remained remarkably confident even when the results weren't dictating that. So not really. I mean, our guys are confident in the schemes. Our guys are confident in their own ability. If there's been any increase in confidence, it's probably been in their belief with their teammates. I think we have a lot of very self-confident guys on our team, and a lot of guys who really believed in the scheme. One thing I think that we've had to grow into is belief that my teammate is going to do what he needs to do in order for me to be successful. And I think now that confidence has probably grown exponentially throughout the entire season. But that hasn't grown because we've been winning. It's grown because of what these guys have seen the guys do in practice week in and week out. And that's and how they've watched them watch film, how they've watched them just mature in general. You know what I mean? And so that's something that where a lot of that confidence has come from.
Have you given 5 minutes of thought, or even 2 minutes of thought to where your team might go? Should it go to a bowl game?
No.
None.
0. Not even a little bit. I'm sure guys on our staff probably have. I haven't. It's funny. I never did that ever. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was a graduate assistant back in the day, when these graduate assistants now, just like the old, like I'll be an old man for a second, but like graduate assistants now, there's like 4 of them. There's analysts everywhere, and it's like, I mean, come on, right? Like when I was a graduate assistant, there was 2 of us, right? It was me and Scott Frost. Right? Those are our graduate assistants at Kansas State. And I'll never forget, our head coach calls in one day, and he's like, we're going to have the bowl game's going to be announced in 4 days. When we get back, I want to break down the game because they're on the road recruiting. I said, all right, well, who are we playing? He goes, well, one of these 5 teams. So I broke down 20 games, and we didn't play any of them. So then we finally get the bowl game, and it's Rutgers, who got jobbed out of a better bowl game. They were 10th in the country. It was their best year ever. They had mutants all over the field. I'm watching the tape, and I have it all, and I knew exactly what they were doing on every play. I could tell you exactly what they were doing on every play based on how they were aligned. And coach is like, all right. And I tell him, I'm like, and I'm like, also, we're not going to gain a yard. and I thought I was going to get fired. And I was right. We gained about 6, I think. So it was one of those things where I tried to like, be so prepared and do all and guess. So ever since then, I have absolutely steadfastly refused to guess on what I'm doing. Now, in retrospect, I thank Coach Prince for that experience because it taught me more about going 1-0, but it also was kind of cool getting to watch, 5 different teams. I learned a lot of football in that little time period. I don't know if my graduate school classes and professors would have agreed with the effort I put in that week, but I think everybody else was all right with it.
You recently talked about how underrated your offensive line is. Isaac's back there. How much of an anchor has he been for that group?
The best. The best. I think that, in fact, I think he should be looked at by a lot more things. I think he should be going to the Senior Bowl. I think that that not happening is, I take that as a personal failing on my part. He's been unbelievable for us. When you look at him and Jordan Young and Nick Rice, our captains, and what they've meant and how great of leaders they've been throughout this thing. I mean, I'm gonna have a hard time, I've been around some great people in this game, great kids in this game. I'm gonna have a hard time ever being around better ones than those 3. And there's a lot of other ones on our team that are like that, but this is one of those once in a generation group of young men that I'm going to have, and hopefully we can continue to match it all the time, right? It's kind of like 100%. Anybody says they give 105%, I just question their elementary school teachers. But I'm going to be able to probably match it someday, but I'm never going to be able to exceed it. So,
what are you hoping to see from the fans out there just on this game? I know you talked about you want them to appreciate the seniors, but
yeah,
the atmosphere, what are you hoping for?
Well, if that place is full, it's going to be loud. It's been loud and it hasn't been full yet. So I just want it to be full because I know it's going to be loud. And, anybody who hasn't come to a game yet has been kind of holding off and those sort of things. Let's fill this thing up. Let's prove to the nation of what Hampton Roads can be. And I know that we can have the best home field advantage in almost any conference we ever play in. I don't care what conference we play in. We can fill this thing up because this whole region can get behind this football team, and we can be great, and it can be something really, really special. And it's been there before. We need to get back to it. We have a nice stadium. When it was like that before, the bathrooms didn't work, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Now we got a beautiful place. So let's fill this thing up and get going. And I think that would really send a message to the rest of college football on where we're going.
And what do you see in Charlotte? What kind of challenges they present?
Yeah, well, obviously that quarterback's played a lot of football for him, and he is a tough kid, really tough. He knows where the ball should go. Sometimes he gets the ball out lightning quick. Other times he knows to hang in there and take a shot so that he can get the ball down the field. He can run. He's mobile. Have a ton of respect for him. We've played some great quarterbacks this year, and he's just another example of it. So a lot of respect for him. Their wide receiver core, great ball skills. Great ball skills. They will find the ball and track it. They do a very good job of creating pass interference calls and doing those sort of things, which they've been valid. They've gone back up through the guy and done some good things. Obviously, that's one of Coach Healy's specialties is wide receiver, so he's done a nice job there. And then defensively, they got a great defensive end who creates a lot of havoc. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. He's very quick, very powerful. They've got some linebackers in there that have done some really nice things, that are very versatile, can run and hit, can cover people in man coverage, but can also play the run in the box. Then their secondary's played a lot of football for them. So it's going to be a big challenge for us, and we know that. And they're a team that plays a lot of passion and energy. We need to match that passion and energy, but we need to maintain our composure. And that's going to be one of the keys to the game.
We all know how enigmatic this team was for a year and a half. How much, does this season exceed your best hopes going into this thing? To even be thinking about bowl game? No, you're not thinking about it. For us to be thinking about it. I'm still wrapping my head around enigmatic, and that was awesome. I gotta remember that one. That's a good one. What this team has done with my hopes and my expectations on this year has been that they've gotten better each and every week, and that was my expectation. That has been my hope, and that's what they've done. I never go into this year kind of looking at the schedule ahead like, oh, we should win that one, we should lose that one. I'm never going to do that. I'm going into every game knowing that there's a way that we can game plan, we can prepare, we can play in order to win. So my expectations are that we get better each and every week. We continue to get better throughout the year, that we give maximum effort each and every day in practice. Those are my expectations, and that, for the most part, we have met.
And Mr. Coach, how are you feeling?
Yeah, Ricky, you don't usually think of place kickers as guys who are loud in the locker room and really leaders. How is Nick sort of different from that stereotype?
Nick's different, period. I like Nick a lot. He's a character, and he's a guy who is very much himself, and he's very comfortable in his own skin, and so people really like him because of that, and he knows he works hard at his craft, and so he knows that gives him the right that he can be a little bit boisterous and those sort of things, because everybody on our team respects how hard he works at his craft. And I think that just like an offensive lineman, just like a linebacker, just like a defensive lineman, they know, hey, that guy works really, really hard, and performs at a high level, and it comes through in the clutch. So yeah, he's allowed to be a little loud and different because he's earned that.
In your experience, have most successful kickers kind of been that way? Comfortable in their own skin and kind of laissez-faire about everything?
I've seen them all different shapes and sizes, really. You know, I mean, I've been around some guys who were very, like, type A, like, I mean, like almost like a robot, and been awesome. I've been around other guys like Nick, like our punter we had at Penn State, who's now in the NFL and doing a really nice job. He was kind of a different dude. So I've been around all different types. My punter in college, my freshman year, he would punt you know, I was backup, I wouldn't do anything, right? So he'd be standing next to me for most of the game, and every once in a while, he was a big, giant human. He was like 6'4", 250 as a punter, and had the best arm on the team and all these sort of things. And he would, every once in a while, he would tell me, he's like, hey, I'm going to punt this, and I'm going to go knock somebody out on this punt. I was like, all right, man, don't get hurt, because we don't have anybody else who can punt, you know? And he would punt it and run down and hit somebody, and then he'd like yell over at me like I was supposed to be impressed. I'm like, dude, do not get hurt. like we can't. We have 0 other punters. And unfortunately we punt a lot. So it was one of those things where it just they're all different. It's kind of like any position. I think people like to lump them in a certain thing, and that you know, as long as they work hard and they're consistent in what they do at that moment and have a routine, they're going to be successful.
They ever have you do like line up in the offensive formation on 4th downs, a quarterback, and then snap it and punt the ball?
No, so I can't kick at all. So like in old school, like those punt, pass, and kick things, like we've all seen like the Andy Reid clip, you know, where he's like 12 years old but looks like he's 44. I would be in first place after the throw and dead last after the kick and punt. I mean, I can't do either, like none. Like it's really, 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 really bad. We used to do that. Jordan Rodgers, when he was our quarterback at Vanderbilt, we did that quite a few times actually, and he was pretty good at it. But he's infinitely a better athlete than me, so that'd probably be the reason why.
So you weren't lining up and showing him how to do it. You were getting other people to do it.
No, like any coach, I was yelling at him when he didn't do it right. But I couldn't do it myself. Yeah, that's standard coaching. You know what I mean? Like tradition coaching. Do something that I can't and do it well. You know, and one of those sort of things.
I saw the celebration video of you guys in the locker room after the Middle Tennessee game, and I'm sorry if I'm asking a question that I should know the answer to, but what does scud mean?
So scud is a term that guys on our team use. I've been told it means good, but if you look at it, it's kind of like all of us would understand. The kids probably won't, but it's kind of like Smurf. I mean, it means whatever they want it to mean at that moment. I mean, it means like 1,000 different things. Yeah. So like the first time I heard it, I was like, because I grew up, scud meant something way different, right? I mean, it was you know, I remember being 12 years old and hearing scud missile for the first time and all those sort of things, you know what I mean? So it meant something totally different. They've been, especially Omarion James, he's been begging me to use it in his team meeting. I was like, I'm not just going to throw it in there. Like, it sounds ridiculous, you know? But at that moment, it kind of hit me, and as soon as I said it, if you'll notice, there's like a second of like, did he just say that? And then they all like kind of freaked out. So it was one of those moments that it was like, and that was like the longest second of my life because I was like, oh man, maybe I used it wrong, you know. So it was one of those deals where it went well. You know, went 1 for 1. So I'll probably retire that from my lexicon and move on. You know.
Anything else for Coach?
All right.
Zach Kuntz, he Twitter messaged Das Boot. Do you know why he did that?
Das Boot. He did that because our trainer likes to drink. We're sponsored by another person, so I won't say it. But he likes to drink carbonated beverages that are non-alcoholic carbonated beverages in the locker room after games. He doesn't different ways. And this time he used a German boot, Das Boot, to drink out of. First of all, he did it way wrong, because he had it tilted to begin with, and then like you got to wait until it hits a certain point and then flip it to make sure that it all goes down. I had a German. This is a true life story. I had my German grandfather, Grandpa Ronnie. He had one in his bar when I was growing up, and he would make me drink water out of it. He said all good Germans know how to drink out of that thing. So he would make me drink water out of it, and I never quite mastered it, but I was much better than Justin. Justin, I think, maybe got maybe a teaspoon in his actual mouth of it. It hit him all over. It wasn't a great deal, but the guys do look forward to it. It is something that everyone is waiting to see what he's going to do when we win. That's one of the reasons why when we win, my locker room speeches are about, 32 seconds long. I figure I'd get out of the way and let them get back to the things they want to be doing.
Think you'll do it if you win?
No, that's not my deal. I'm not going to steal somebody else's thunder. Yeah. My deal is go in there, say some words. I won't say they're words of wisdom, but say some words, and then jump around, get water poured all over me, get pushed and punched a little bit, and then get out of there and come talk to you guys as soon as I can. So that's my ritual. Anything else?
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Started all 11 games, left tackle, left guard, center. He has 46 career starts, second most in school history, tie with Jordan Young. 48's the record. O'Shane and Craig Wilkins have that record. Scott, you want to start off with Isaac?
Coming down the stretch here, your last game, at least at Ballard, just your thoughts coming into this final home game anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it came a lot quicker than I thought it would. I mean, I've been here a long time, but just in terms of the season, it's kind of flown by, and that's something you kind of expect when you start the season. You get into such a routine, and then it kind of sneaks up on you, So I don't know if it's really hit me yet that it's going to be the last time I play in here, but I'm looking forward to it. It's always something like seeing the older guys go through that and seeing them get to do their, last game at home, the senior day stuff. It's, I guess, a cool culmination to a career.
Yeah, I don't know if we're allowed to talk legacy from guys who are young as you, but maybe not your legacy, but the legacy of the senior class.
I think the big thing that the senior class wanted to set out to do, it's not a very big one, from all the circumstances of the past few years, everything that's happened. There's really not a lot of us. I think there's going to be, maybe 11 people out there, maybe even less. But I think the big thing is we wanted to try and reestablish a good culture through the program. And looking at, where we've come since Coach Rahne and the new staff has gotten here, I think we've done a good job in at least beginning to do that, if not having already done that. But I think that's the biggest thing, and really that's just a credit to the guys who are here and they've stuck around, and also the guys who aren't seniors who have also completely bought in, and to the freshmen that have just come in, and the people who got recruited right when Coach Rahne got here. It's a credit to really all of them to help us achieve that goal. And at the end of the day, it's not just the seniors that want to do that, but it's a whole team thing. And I think that's kind of, I guess if you want to say what the legacy we want to leave, that's kind of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to implement there.
Isaac, has any of this year surpassed your expectations or surprised you or exceeded your expectations?
I think the best thing to answer that question is very similar to what I just said. I mean, we set out when Coach Rahne first got hired. I remember having conversations with him, with Coach Galt, with Deej, our strength coach, and pretty much every coach and player was that we wanted to change the culture, reestablish it, and create an environment that encouraged and encouraged winning and helped us thrive, and at the end of the day do what we want to do is win games. And I think that we've done a great job of that over the past what was it, like year and a half, almost 2 years now since coaches got hired, and that's just I think that was the goal, was to make sure that we established that culture and then cemented it. And I think that we were able to establish that culture early, even before, we started the season. And I think that going through this season, every day, every week has, talking about that 1-0 mentality, has helped us cement that culture and prove, hey, this is what we need to do. This is how we have to do it. And it's kind of shown everybody that it can work, and, just go about, making sure that this can be sustainable.
Kind of follow up on that, just the winning culture. When you were 1-6, that cement that you're talking about, was it as strong as it was at the beginning of the season? Were there doubts?
I think we just continued to embrace the 1-0 mentality. It's always very tough when stuff isn't going your way, but I think to credit all the coaches and all the players is we just kind of kept attacking each day with that same mentality, trusting that it would eventually begin to take hold and that we would be able to, reap the benefits of all our hard work.
We know that inside, I don't know if you heard me ask Coach, but inside the locker room, it's all about the 1-0 mentality. It's all about the culture that you guys are building, and it's all about trying to send, the senior class out the right way. The outside, everybody's focusing on, hey, if you guys win this game, you go to a bowl game. Do you hear that stuff? Does it ever enter your mind at all, that of what this team could do, having started off 1-6, and the potential that is there?
I do think it's honestly a little bit human nature to hear all that stuff, but I think that just goes back to the point of the 1-0 mentality and what that entails. And that entails being able to block out that outside noise. I mean, you might hear stuff like that, you might hear whispers of it, but at the end of the day, if you really do believe and buy into that, culture of being 1-0, doing everything 1-0, taking it day by day, that you're going to be able to block out that noise so that you can achieve those goals, which is at the end of the day going 1-0.
Isaac, in a couple of weeks, you're going to be at Chartway Arena walking again. Is that right?
Yeah, I should be graduating this semester. Yes.
Is it an MBA?
It will be a master's degree in exercise science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you sort of balanced academics with all the time demands of football, and especially through the pandemic and all that.
I think that the best way that I've learned to manage the time is just to really figure out how to prioritize. And I guess that's kind of the same thing. I'm just saying it in different words, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's a cop-out answer, but you kind of have to take a look and see what you believe is the most important to you. What do you care about the most? And I guess for me, I cared about the most was playing football and continuing my education. So then it was just, all right, how do I prioritize these two things? Because if you boil it down to that, it's just kind of like, all right, I've got these two things to do every day. Now, how do I go about accomplishing these things? And you just got to kind of, block out time, make sure you, have time to study football and school at the same time. And it is hard, but I think with all of the tools that the program gives us, with that we have a great academic staff and they help out a ton. And then once you kind of like have learned and figured it out on your own after they help you out, because they always help all the freshmen. So as soon as you get here, you're going to be in a very, very regimented schedule. And they're going to make sure, they're going to set you up for success. And once you prove you can do that, they kind of let you go on your own. So I think it was all about building that trust with the team, building that trust with the academic staff, and then they kind of set you out on your own. And by then, you've kind of learned all the, secrets to success, I guess you could say. And you kind of know exactly what you have to do, and you just kind of fall into a routine, and all of a sudden it's second nature, and it really, I guess, it's still hard, but it becomes, manageable. It's almost like, oh, this is just what I do every day. There's, it's not that hard anymore. You just kind of get used to it.
What were you thinking when Coach Rahne, and I'm probably paraphrasing him poorly here, said that he would have a hard time equaling the 3 captains he had this year ever, as far as your character?
I mean, it really means a lot, to hear him say something like that. I hold him in a very high regard, and I know the other captains do as well. I don't want to speak for them, but I from conversations with them. But I do think, that the way that we'll be leaving this program. We're leaving it in great hands. I know there's a lot of people on this team who are, if not, higher character than ourselves, just up there. You know what I mean? Like, there's no part of me that worries once we're out of here that this place will lack any sort of leadership. I know I could name a handful of people. I probably won't right now, but I could name a handful of people that I am 100% confident are going to do probably an even better job than all of us have.
So tell us a good story about Nick. Or maybe
Nick.
just speak to what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, I think he is a very, very interesting person. He's a great guy to be around. He's a ton of fun, in the locker room and on the field and outside off the field. But he's just he's always like a very happy person. He never really brings the mood down. Whenever you're around him, he's going to have a smile on his face. He's always going to have something cheerful to say. And he is definitely his own person. He's got a very unique personality, and I think that's something that you need in locker rooms. I think that's what's special about having a team that's as diverse as you get when you play football, is that you have people from all different types of backgrounds. You have people with all different types of personalities, and there's probably over 100 of us in there. So you're getting a taste of almost everything. And I think he's a big part of the culture and the personality of this team, and I know everybody really appreciates him.
He missed an extra point that would have tied a game, sent it to overtime, and he since won a game with a field goal. After that extra point, he seemed to be the same happy-go-lucky dude. How important was it for him to set that example for other guys?
I think it was extremely important. Like you said, that happened, but he was able to, come back and he won us a game, and he's put us in position to win us games, and he's, contributed a ton to our success and to helping us, go 1-0 every week. But I think that really just embodies the 1-0 mentality at the end of the day. I mean, it doesn't matter what happened the play before. It doesn't matter. You can't look ahead to the next play. You just have to continue to play and do the best of your abilities each and every time you go out there. And you can't let stuff that's happened in the past affect what you're going to do in the future.
This staff, being new, could have experimented a lot with lineups and stuff. How much does it help to look around and see basically the same people around you?
That helps. It definitely does. I mean, it's always nice to build as much chemistry as you can with the people you play next to. I think especially, among the offensive line, we played, I think everyone knows that it's 5 people trying to play as one, and that can be something that's hard to do. And really the best way to just get really good at that is to play as much as you can next to each other. So you know exactly what the person next to you is thinking, you know exactly how they like to play, what their strengths are, and you can build off of that, and you can really become a good cohesive unit and one that plays well together. I think that's kind of the best example of something like that.
Anything else for Isaac? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Norton leads the team with 81 tackles. He has 328 career tackles, 12 behind Craig Wilkins, 340 the record. Mark, you start us off with Jordan.
Jordan, has it hit you that it's your final game in this stadium, just after the ups and downs that you guys have gone through recently?
Actually, no, not yet. It probably won't hit me until we walk out there with my parents, and just I'm kind of taking everything in for senior day and all the events and everything like that. So, no, it really hasn't hit me yet. I try not to look too much forward and try to oversee things, trying to just going into the season, being my last year, I knew that. I just wanted to kind of just take every day as its own individual day and just try to live in the moment, enjoy each day. So that's really kind of my approach. So to start the week, I'm kind of just getting amped up for today's off day, but just the things I can do in the facility to help myself and better myself for the game, and then just going every day in practice and just enjoying the time with the guys.
You guys 1-11 2019, didn't play at all last year, as you know. Has any part of this year surprised you or exceeded your expectations?
No, nothing's really surprised me. I mean, I knew coming into the season just all the work that we put in the off season, and then all the time we put in last year not playing, just the group of guys I knew that we had in the room and the guys we had around us, that they really and truly cared about playing the game of football the right way. And just coming to the season, I knew that we had a bunch of guys I could really count on. And when I looked to my left and right, I had guys that were going to do whatever it took to win.
What has it meant to you to be part of this program in your time here?
It's meant everything. I mean, when the 2019 season happened and ended, and just I'm going to my senior year and just not knowing what's going on, coaches get fired and things like that, and just not knowing what's in store for me. And then just for me, loyalty is everything, and just sticking it out and trusting the process of Coach Rahne's vision when they came in and he explained what he wanted for the program, and just his vision aligning with my vision, and just being here and being a part of it for so long and wanting to finish out my career that way, that it's really meant everything. And I'm very thankful for them for the opportunity to still be around, and I just kind of wanted to help set the foundation for what his staff wanted to do and just what his vision was.
What appealed to you about his vision?
I mean, it just honestly started with just him just embracing the community and just really being around 757 and his idea of just wanting this program to be like one of the focal points of Virginia, and his in-home vision of just wanting to get guys from Virginia and wanting guys to stay home, and just really wanting to breed that family feel and that family approach to the program was just really something that always homes with me, because family is such a big thing for me, and just that's really honestly what got me to ODU was that family feel and just the locker room and the guys, and I just really felt like he was trying to get back to that.
Like for everything you talked about, the ups and downs and 1-11 season, coaching change, global pandemic, all that stuff, what would it mean to, all the other outside stuff that people are talking about, the relevance of this game, putting that aside, what would it mean to cap this season off with 5 straight wins?
I mean, it's really just a big thing. I mean, winning's it's a completely different feel than losing, and we've gone through our ups and downs in this program, and just going out the right way and just kind of just leaving that mark, leaving that legacy, and just really establishing what ODU can be when we're doing what we're supposed to do, and we're winning, and the community's happy, and the fans are out supporting. It just really shows what ODU can be, and like I said, I'm just happy to be able to be a part of it while it's happening, and just I'm excited for the future of the guys on the team and the community and what ODU is going to be in the future.
Are you chasing this record, or are you even thinking about it?
I'm not necessarily chasing it. Personal records don't really mean a whole lot to me, but I mean, it's a cool thing for me, as I spoke on in the past, that Craig Wilkins was a GA for us when I first got here, and just after my first redshirt freshman season and we completed the season, it was his last season as a GA, and he told me he wanted me to go out and break the record, and he thought I was the guy that could do that. Just the connection I had with him, it was just a cool experience to have. And TJ Ricks, who was in second, who I just passed, he messaged me and said congrats, and he told me go get first. I mean, it's not necessarily something I'm chasing, but if I accomplish it along the way and we're doing what we're supposed to do and we're winning, I'm happy.
Anything else for Jordan? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Cory was a junior college transfer in 2019. Had 5 tackles this year. Made 6 starts at defensive end, 23 tackles, 3 sacks. David, you want to start us off with Cory?
Sure. As a defensive player, how much of an inspiration is Jordan?
Honestly, I look at Jordan a lot because ever since I've been here, he's just been one of the leaders. And yeah, every time I talk to him, he always just have some inspirational things to say to me. Just in 2019 when I got injured, Jordan, he told me just keep my head up and you're going to come back and you're going to be good. And that's what he told me. Ever since then, I just been looking up to him. Me and him been close ever since then.
Jordan talked about loyalty being one of the key factors, him being around here and doing what he's done. Is there that, or is some other factor that has played large in your time here?
Yeah, loyalty. I think brotherhood plays a huge part too, because you're gonna do anything for family, and I think that's what we kind of set here. Like, yeah, we start out 1-6 or whatever, but like at the end of the day, you're gonna do anything for your brother. You're gonna look to your left and to your right. You're gonna do anything for him. So, like, I guess we kind of found a way to win, and then that's what we've been doing ever since.
When you guys were 1-6, if you add that with 2019, you were 2-16 in 2 seasons. How amazing is it that a bowl game is even a possibility?
Me being a senior, this is my last game. I haven't really thought about going to a bowl game, and me being from a junior college, it's really my first time, ever just being in a situation like this. So I think it's really a blessing for us to even come out, especially us being 1-6. I think we just, like you said, go have the 1-0 mentality, and go into this game and give everything we got and see what happens at the end.
Have you been able to scout Charlotte yet? And if so,
Oh yeah, they I watched some film yesterday on them. They have a good offense, good quarterback. Quarterback played a lot of snaps for them. Good offensive line. I feel like it's gonna be a good game. I'm excited to play them.
Anything else for Cory?
Cory, let me ask you one sort of offbeat question here. A lot of kids, coaches, their wives and kids around the facility at practice and all that. How do you react to that? What do the players think of that?
I think it's a good thing because their kids and wives get to go watch their husbands do what they do at work. I think it could be inspiration for their kids. Just watching us go out there and practice, they might want to grow and be a football player. And I'm just blessed to have that impact on their lives. And yeah, that's it.
What would it mean to you to go into that stadium Saturday and see it full?
It would mean a lot to me, especially me being this is my last game, like I said, and me just walking. I don't think it hit me yet. I think it's gonna hit me when I walk out in the tunnel for the last time with my mom, and then just looking up into the stands and see it full, everybody screaming ODU. I think that would be a good feeling, great feeling.
You just mentioned your mom. Who's your most influential? Who do you think is the most influential person in your life? Is it your mom? Is it somebody else?
It probably is my mom because ever since I was little, she always been there, helping me with schoolwork. Sometimes helped me get dressed for football practice when I was little. Just make sure I had everything I needed to be successful for real. She always was in my corner, and she gonna be there with me on Saturday.
Anything else for Cory? All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Cory.
Appreciate it.